Thank you very much. The process have started in 2018 after Baidoa received the highest number of IDPs in Baidoa. And all of them, they were living private land. So we know that the risk of eviction also in terms of human rights is a violation, and not to evict them, IDPs. So they have been living in the private land, so the private owners, they say that they want their land back. And in January 25, 2018, we have invited all the humanitarian developmental partners in Baidoa just to discuss how can we mitigate the eviction that might be happening in Baidoa. And after long discussions, we have agreed that there have been some meeting outcomes, and one of the outcomes was the government to identify, the municipality identify the public site for the IDPs who have been the highest risk of eviction. So there is no need that IDPs to live in a private land while the government can get a public land. So in February, we have conducted assessment together with IOM and the partners in Baidoa, and we have assessed the location of Barago site, which was not so far from the city of Baidoa, and which we could see that they can easily access to the city when they are relocated to the Barago site. After that, IOM has supported, and the donors supported that the site planning of Barago site and putting all the services that IDPs that might need in the future after the relocation happens. And the government supported also the deployment of the police forces to the Barago site just to mitigate any protection issues that might be happening in the area. And we have really, it was very milestone achievement at that time, and we have relocated after the basement has been done, the surfaces has been done, the site planning, the process has been done. We have relocated the first batch of 1,000 households to Barago site in June 2019, and which makes that they were the highest risk of evictions. After the assessment conducted, the assessment identified that they were the highest risk of eviction, so they have been selected to relocate to Barago site. Thank you. The great achievement was also to change the government mindset of the dealing of the IDPs in Baidoa, and just also to know that how the eviction was a risk to the IDPs, and how also impact of the human rights violations on risk evictions, and how also the land values is important. The IDPs to have HLP rights, land and property and rights in Baidoa, although they don't have, they left all whatever they had belonged to the rural, from the rural areas. So this shows us how we can keep the HLP rights for the IDPs in Baidoa. And we have also, the other achievement was that how it has attracted the donor communities also to fund Barago site, and the partners as well to fund the Barago site, and how the idea of the relocation of IDPs become very successful, and how also we have engaged the communities of Baidoa, how we have engaged the traditional leaders of Baidoa, how we have coordinated the Barago site, the site planning and the technical working group meeting is that we have been calling that all humanitarian partners, the developmental partners, to contribute to Barago site. So we have created also a very concrete coordination system that time in Baidoa. So it was one of the great successful achievements in Barago site. Yeah. The first of all, this was the government priorities. Just municipal objective is just to relocate these households and to identify a public site, to Barago site in Baidoa. So the initiative comes from the government of South State government, the municipality of Baidoa. So you can understand that how the political support and the willingness from the community, the willingness from the government part is very important. So whatever work you are doing, there should be a willingness from the government, from the highest level of authority up to the lowest level of the community, they should be working together on those issues. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to implement it. If you don't have political support from the Office of the President, if you don't have political support from the line ministries, if you don't have political support from the communities, at the community level, it will be very hard to develop to reach this objective. But also some kind of proactiveness. Municipality should be able to convince the objective that they want to reach to the higher level of the authority. The communities, as well as the community, the traditional leaders. So the municipality should be very proactive on delivering the messages and conveying the messages to the government, is seeking the political support, the willingness of those ideas. So this was one of the also great achievements that we have achieved. And I advise other states also, this is not only IDP relocation, it's also contributing to the urbanizing of Baidoa city. So we don't say that IDPs have been relocated, IDPs have been given a land, not like that. How it is also contributing the urbanization of the urban cities. We can see that all people need to live in urban cities where they believe that they can get access of the services in the urban areas. We see that people are vacating from the rural areas and coming to the urban cities. So we can see that if they come, if there is no proper plan in place, it will affect the city again, to be Islam, to be congested in the area, to be also breed the diseases, and the waste management also it will be very difficult. So this is also contributes to the urbanizing the cities, and we can see that globally all people need to live in urban cities instead of rural cities. So this is part of the preparation and the planning ahead. The cities also it will also contribute. You can plan the cities ahead, and you can plan every services before in the coming generations in the future. Thank you. We have learned a lot from our side in terms of the design, in terms of the planning, in terms of the services, in terms of the resource management. So, in the southern side, we are planning to identify another site. So we are thinking of, will it be like Borogo site, or will it be different little bit in terms of the minimizing the resources that putting in the area. So our objective is how do we balance? For example, now Borogo, you can see that every 32 households there is a big portion of land in between them, and so we need to serve a lot of land, a lot of the land spaces in the future. So little bit we need to also align with the city planning and urban planning in the future, and to plan as a city, not as the IDP site, as a city. So IDPs, they can fully integrate with the host communities without any challenge. This is a very important question. As a municipality, we are thinking of to plan also the open areas that are not being yet settled. We are also thinking of the increasing revenue collection system of the municipality, that we should be able to contribute also the ongoing efforts of that is contributed by the donors. Recently, we have concluded a Baidoa Revenue Collection Act. And also we are now doing a Baidoa revenue collection work plan. So we are also increasing the heads of the collection systems, how many heads that we are collecting right now, and what is missing. So the land is one of the areas that is still missing fully, not contributing to the Baidoa revenues. So we are thinking of the planning the city, planning the open land to Baidoa city, identifying the plots, putting the surfaces, or where the surface will be, where the restaurant will be, where the roads will be. Then after that, calling all the private sector, all the landowners, or all people that they can purchase this land from the municipality, issuing certificates, title deed certificates, and paying tax, yearly tax registration for paying yearly tax, and something. We are thinking of some sort of like that. So this will contribute a lot to the municipal revenue collection systems. A municipality will be able also to to contribute the ongoing durable solution efforts in Baidoa. So we can contribute like construction of health postes, schooling, something like that. And people are happy to start this process because they want to see that their land is value in terms of issuing the title deeds. So this is what we are thinking of in the coming future. Yeah. This is, if we say that relocation of 69,000 households into the another Barwagos, it will need a lot of cost, billions of US dollars will need to be there. So we are thinking of other options that how can we build their economic capabilities, IDPs in Baidoa, so we can have access rights of land, and they can have access building of shelter that they prefer. They can also have access to the banks, the commercial banks or the private banks in Baidoa. So the municipality will also be able to support giving them land for freely, and then creating them for jobs, like 20,000 jobs or 30,000 jobs. So once they have a land and title deed, they will be able to build their preferable houses and access to the markets, whatever they want. So we need to change a little bit the tool that we are using right now. Instead of saying that, for example, if you say that a lot of relocation will be happening, it will need a lot of money, a lot of budget. But we need to support those IDPs to boost their economic capability. Once they get a job, when they do revenues, they will be able to buy a land that like other IDPs who bought the land in Baidoa. But still, it is important to continue until as much as we can do other relocations in Baidoa, which is still very important. But we can think of putting them their economic capabilities so they can do other services that they need in the future. Yeah. Thank you very much. Since my new appointment came, I have recorded almost 10 fire eruptions in Baidoa city, and you cannot see that even the firefighters cannot access to where the fire is erupted due to the Islam of the city. And you can understand that when the city is receiving the highest number of population, IDPs, the host communities, and refugee returnees, and still continue such Islams, in the future it will impact the security of the city, it will impact the economic of the city, it will also impact the hygiene and sanitation of the city. So our first priority is we need to carry out a very urgent city planning and urban planning, both the city, which is now existing city, and also the open land of Baidoa before it is resettled. And also my other plan is empowering the Chamber of the Commerce, the economic, the business groups of Soil State of Baidoa, so we can see that how they are contributing the ongoing efforts in Baidoa. We also need that the municipality should have some sort of independent in terms of the economically should be fit in terms of the revenues, in terms of the social development, in terms of everything. So we have a lot of priorities in durable solutions and also urban resilience programs, but we need just to speed up. So we build the donors community also to support our objectives and our priorities in the future. And we want also Baidoa to be an economic hub for Southern Central Somalia by motivating and encouraging the business groups in the city, so they can also contribute for their part at the end.